Hello, hello, hello to everyone. This is Philip W. and I am back with a new video. I am here to talk about, well, first of all, oh my gosh, I want you to guys see my hair. I got my hair did finally. They're like little singles. But anyway, I'm here to talk about a adventure that I went on. Earlier today, I auditioned for The Voice, which this is not my first time auditioning for the show. This is like my third time auditioning, and I'm just gonna start off like saying that like this like whole experience was a lot different than my other experiences. I wasn't as nervous as I was the first time that I auditioned. However, um, it seems like I tend to learn a whole lot of different things each time that I audition. So, like, I'm basically going to break it down to basically like how everything went down. Um, I auditioned here today in Indianapolis, which is my hometown, and it was at the Baker's Life Field House. And I had drove. It was me and my mom and my brother, and we had drove downtown, and it was a little frustrating at first because we couldn't find a parking spot because a lot of the parking lots that we tried to go into, a lot of them were closed, especially like the public parking lots. So we had ended up circling back around, and we had to like come back around like a second time just to find a parking spot. So I had seen a garage, so I ended up pulling into the garage, and I said, well, you know what, let me just go ahead and just pay for a parking spot because there are no other parking lots open. So once we parked there, we got out of the car, and I was really excited. We got there around like, I would say one, like close to 1 o'clock, I believe it was that we got there in the afternoon, of course. And we walked and walked and walked, and I seen like all the people outside. Not to mention it was really cold outside, and it was like hundreds of people out there. And um, it took us about maybe 2 to 3 minutes to get like to the end of the line. Like the line was pretty much backed up all the way from the beginning of the building, like towards like under the bridge. Like it was a pretty long line. But what I liked about it is that the lines went pretty fast, which didn't surprise me because, as I said earlier, this is not my first time auditioning for the show. So, the main thing I was focused on was just getting to know some of the people around me, but just staying focused on me, and just staying focused on what I had came there to do. Um, I walked in with a completely different mindset. I was pretty much mentally prepared, just for anything, considering the last two times I was highly disappointed, but this time around, like, I was not nervous, and I just made sure that everything was there with me. So, we stood up, let's see, we stood in line once we got in the building. We stood up for about 2 to 3 hours. Not to mention, my mom and my brother, they couldn't come in the building because I guess the rules of the Voice is that no family is allowed in there unless you're a minor. So my mom and my brother, they had left me there, and they went back home, and I was there by myself, and we was standing up for about maybe 2 hours. And then we finally got into the stadium, and I was looking around at all these different pictures of like people, some of the basketball players that played for the Pacers and all that, things of that sort. So then we finally got to sit down, after standing up for a while. We went in about, let's see, we went in one, two, three, about four different lines to audition. Um, and I was calling my mom and checking in and letting her know, how everything was going and everything, and how much longer I had to wait. And I was checking in with her, and there was people that was really nervous and stuff, and there was people that was singing and everything, and I was just basically pretty much controlling my emotions, just staying, humble and just not really like getting my emotions too bottled up, because that could be easy to do when you have an important audition that you really want to accomplish. And there were people that were singing, and the whole atmosphere was really friendly, and people were just talking, and everything was just really going really nicely. And we all had our wristbands and everything, and we sat down for about, at this point it was around 3, I believe it was around 3 something, and we sat there for about maybe another hour and a half, and our row finally got called. Like, there was this one girl, I guess she was part of some team or whatever, and she was going up to us row by row, and she was counting us like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and she told us, to go by different groups. And so when it finally got time for us to walk back there, we had walked down the stands after my group got called, and we stood in line for a minute, and then there was a lady that was on a loud microphone. She was pretty much hyping up the crowd, and I heard that Addison, the girl from last season, was there, but I missed her. I didn't get a chance to see her. If I would have seen her, I would have definitely liked to have met her and actually talked to her. But I did hear that some of the advice that she gave to some of the earlier people that was there before me and the other group had arrived was that she said that you be yourself and don't be too nervous and all that stuff. So, it had came time for me to audition. And we had walked down this hallway, and we had sat in these chairs outside of the audition room. And then what I find funny about the situation is that I wasn't nervous like at all during that whole entire time up until I had got to the audition room. That's when I kind of felt my heart beating a little fast. So I was kind of talking to myself and just telling myself, okay, come on, Philip, you got this, you got this, you got this. Like, you can do this. Like you've been through this before, and you could just tell a lot of people were nervous. So we sat there for about maybe 15 minutes, and we finally got called in the room, and there was a line of chairs that was around, and there was this guy that was sitting there, one of the producers of the show. He had his laptop in front of him, and he introduced himself, and he seemed like a really nice person. And he basically called us up one by one, just by whatever order that he had our audition pass and paperwork in. And he called us up one by one, and I was about maybe the second to the last person to audition. I was about like the 9th person to audition, because there was one more guy that was after me. And when I went up to audition, like, I stood there, and the song that I sang was Love Is On The Way by Celine Dion. And I practiced the song, and I knew the song like very well. And as I was singing, I was looking at his facial expressions, and I could kind of tell that he was liking what he was hearing, because like he was down and he was making faces like, like that, so that kind of gave me the impression that he liked the way my voice was sounding, and I was saying to myself, okay, I'm getting somewhere. But then, here's the bad part. All of a sudden, towards the middle of the song, because he only gave us like 30 seconds to sing, and somewhere towards the middle, I forgot one of the lyrics for a quick second. And that has never happened to me out of all the places that I have auditioned for, I never in my life forgot lyrics to a song. Ever. You know, and I kind of paused for like 2 seconds. And the number one thing that they told us was that if you mess up or if you forget your lyrics, do not let them see that you forgot. So I don't know if he noticed that or not, but he was looking at me. He was looking dead in my eyes, and I made sure to make eye contact with him while I was singing because I wanted him to see how serious I was and how dedicated I was. So, you know, I had forgot one of the lyrics, and I kind of paused for about 3 seconds, and I kind of went like, and then I chuckled like that, you know, and I'm saying to myself, boy, you better get it together. Like, I was telling myself, I said, get it together. Like, think of something, do something. And then all of a sudden, those little 3 seconds that I had paused, then the lyrics that I forgot had came back, and I remembered it. So I continued to sing, and then he threw his hand up while I was singing, and then he said, "Okay, thank you." And then he said, "Good job." He told me, "Good job." So then I went and I sat back down. Now the guy that had went after me, he started singing his song. So then the producer asked him to sing a second song. So then after he sung the second song, then the producer, he said, well, can you sing something like more current or more, what was the word he used? I think he said something about radio friendly. That's what he said. Yes, I remember. He said, can you sing something more current or radio friendly? And the guy, he stood there for a minute because he was trying to think of like a third song to sing that was current and radio friendly. I mean, you would think that would be easy to do, but no. Especially if you don't listen to a lot of current music. Like, it is very difficult to think of a song that is radio friendly and current to sing that a lot of people haven't did already. Because when you audition, you know, they want you to pick relevant songs, but at the same time they don't want songs that are overdone. They don't want songs that are sung like all the time, so it makes it a little difficult. And so the guy, he finally came up with a third song to sing. So after he was done singing, after it was all done, the producer guy, he sat there for about, I say about 15 seconds. You know, he was thinking. Like, I could tell that he was trying to make a decision because he was making faces like, you know, he was going like that. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, what is he about to say? And then he finally opens his mouth and he said, word for word, out of his mouth, he said, I just want to thank all of you guys for coming. Like, I understand that it is very, very hard for you guys to come out here and sing, especially from standing out in the cold, you know, waiting in those long lines and all that different stuff. And then he said that he wanted to keep the one guy. He said he wanted him to stay, the guy that had sung after me, which he was really, really good. Like, he was very talented. He sounded really, really good. You know, after he made him sing 3 songs, I mean, it didn't really surprise me that he had him stay, because usually if someone asks you to sing another song, that can either mean one or two things. One, they like what you heard, so they want to hear how you sound singing something else. Or two, maybe they didn't like the song choice and maybe they want to hear something different. You know, it could be one of those two things, but I knew. So it didn't surprise me that that guy had stayed. So he told, you know, the rest of us thank you. So the rest of us left. So, you know, of course, I didn't make it. But I wasn't really that sad or that disappointed. However, when I was standing outside waiting for my ride to come, um, I heard a lot of people saying, "Oh my God, like you sounded so amazing. How come you didn't make it?" And let me just explain something. Cause see, I did a lot of research on these singing shows and how reality TV works. And basically what it boils down to is that you could have the best voice in the room, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to make it to the next round. You know, like it's obviously more than having a great voice. You know, even if you have the look and you have everything down pat, that still doesn't guarantee you making it to the next round. Because if you look at all the past winners of the show and all the people that sang on that show, a lot of them don't even stay with the record label that's affiliated with that show, because because a lot of people, they they pick you based off of like how the ratings are going to get on the show, and they either choose you maybe based on you having a good backstory, or they pick you maybe based off of certain qualities that you may have about you that may keep their ratings up on the show. And you know, you're basically getting on that show just to sing like a lot, just for entertainment purposes. Like you can go through all those rounds and win the show and you could still get nothing. Like a record deal is not guaranteed. Like, and a lot of people have asked me, they said, well, if you know all this stuff about this show, then why did you audition? And I give people the same answer every time. I audition because you never know. You know, I mean, yeah, most people, if a lot of people knew what these shows were really about, a lot of people probably wouldn't even be auditioning because they would feel like they would be wasting their time. But I still chose to audition anyway because I felt like it was a once in a lifetime opportunity to really get myself out there. And if I did make it on the show, then, you know, at least somebody's seen, you know, my voice. Now, I don't know if me possibly stumbling on the lyrics may have been a detriment to me not making it. I mean, I really don't know. Then again, it may not have even made a difference. It probably wouldn't even made a difference because there are tons of talented singers that don't even make it. You know, so it really doesn't even make me feel that bad that I didn't make it. I am not disappointed. I'm not sad. You know, I'm not upset about anything. Um, I do know that um, I do know a little bit like about other rounds that you go through. Of course, like the callbacks. You know, you have to prepare 3 current songs, and of course they uh, make you sing current songs, you know, songs that aren't too old but songs that are really up to date. And if they like your sound, or if they don't like the song that you sing, or if they just don't like a certain appearance about you, like that can also cause you not to make it through to a certain round. Like it's just a lot of different things that come into play. Um, it's just a lot of things that goes into that show that most people really don't understand until they really make it to that round. And I just know that if you do get lucky enough to go to the next round, that you pretty much have to be prepared with song choices that are going to make you stand out and that's going to fit your voice. You have to be confident. You can't really show nervousness. Don't try not to show much nervousness. You have to know who you are as an artist. And when you sing songs, just, you know, you have to sell it. You have to really sell it. I'm not going to necessarily say that my nerves got the best of me, because I still did a good job and I sang the song and I did a really good job with the song. But this isn't going to stop me from pursuing my dreams. You know, it was a good opportunity, and I was really glad that I went out and did it, considering that it was in my city. So yeah. So if there's anybody that has any more questions for me, you know, please feel free to ask me. But I just thought that I would share this experience with you guys. So like, comment, share, and let me know what you guys think.